See, to say that the universe, to say that my mother was preparing too much food is like saying that the universe has created too much good. You hear it? I didn't have to eat it all, but I had no room for any of it. Dr. Raymond Charles Barker tells us in The Power of Decision, he says the universe is a divine extravagance. It doesn't hold back. It doesn't hold back anything that is given. It doesn't half do anything. Have you ever noticed that about the universe? It doesn't. In the morning you look up, the universe doesn't say, well, I'm just going to give them a little bit of a sunrise because I want to save some of that beauty for tomorrow. It doesn't do that, does it? Because no matter what it gives us today, there's plenty for tomorrow, because that's a prosperity lesson, isn't it? It doesn't say, I'm just going to make this rose a little bit pretty because tomorrow I may have to make one that's beautiful. It doesn't hold back, it gives. Ernest Holmes said the universe just gives and gives and gives. And its giving is inexhaustible. But what about our receptivity to its giving? There's the question. Okay? The universe is saying, I'm not holding back. And yet that's the very thing that we do. So the thing about prosperity, in the beginning, my prosperity lessons all seemed to be about recognizing that there was enough here for everybody. Recognizing that there was more than enough. And that nothing that I had could take away from anybody else. That was like prosperity 101. And yet I began to recognize that there's another phase to this. And it's what I've been talking about. How much of it can we receive? How much of it are we open to? How much of it are we saying yes to right now? How many of us in our treatments after we speak our word, how many of us declare that we receive it now? So my point this morning is that sometimes our issues with prosperity are not our awareness with it. Sometimes our issues with prosperity are our receptivity to it. See, my prosperity lessons in my life have gone way beyond Thanksgiving dinner. It didn't just stop there because I have a lot of teachers. So I had to start paying attention to how I was feeling. There was a time in my life where I'd opened up to having new clothes. And a dear friend of mine walked up to me one day and said, I have all these clothes that I don't wear anymore. And would it offend you if I offered them to you? And I'm going, offend me? I said, bring them on. And the next weekend, this person walks in with like 5 or 6 huge bags of clothes. Some of them had designer names. Some of them even had tags that were still hanging on them. And they were beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And the next weekend, they walked in with 5 or 6 more bags. And this went on for about 4 or 5 weeks. And I'm washing and I'm folding and I'm washing and I'm folding. And one day I looked up and I have 36 pair of black pants. Just, oh, hold it. But I heard this is the interesting thing that happened. Because they were still coming in. She says, well, I can finally see the closet floor now, but there's much more coming. This is when I heard the words come out of my mouth. I said to myself, this is too much. This is too much. And I heard the words when I said it. And I realized that that was my limit. That was the limit I had set. The universe doesn't set a limit. The universe doesn't know a limit. That was the limit I was setting. And I could feel it. I remember when my sister was teaching, and she used to do this exercise with her classes, where she'd say, imagine that you had no physical funds right now, none. And you can do this right now in the audience. Imagine that right this moment you have no physical funds available to you. Don't imagine too deeply, okay? But just yeah, anyway. But so now she says, now how much do you think that you could come up with, that you could demonstrate by the end of the day? And so what she'd do is she'd say, how about 50 cents? I'm going to do it with you. How about 50 cents? Okay? How about $1? You think you could demonstrate $1 in a day? Now, this isn't going into your bank account. This is in demonstration. No visible signs of fun. No visible signs of funds. You're not going in your bank account. You're demonstrating. Okay, how about $5? How about $10? How about $25? How about $50? How about $100? Okay, everybody in the room who thinks that they can demonstrate $100 in a day, stand up. Okay, now I'm going to keep going. And as I keep going, just sit down when you're okay. All right. How about $1,000? Okay. How about $2,000? How about $5,000? How about $10,000? How about $50,000? How about $75,000? $100,000? $200,000? $500,000? $1 million by the end of the day. How about 5 million? How about 10 million? I'm going to hang out with these two over here. I don't know about you. How about 100 million by the end of the day? Okay. Okay, now here, okay, thank you guys. Okay, now here, so now both Linda and Estella have all of us as their new best friends, right? Okay, that's what just happened. But what I want you to recognize is what just happened here. What you felt when I hit that limit that you've set within yourself. Now I want you to recognize the universe didn't set that limit. We set it. We set that limit. The universe doesn't see a limit. The universe doesn't see a line anywhere. I think one of my most powerful lessons was the time when I recognized that I was looking up something for a talk, and I said, well, how many oceans are there? And I looked it up, and the internet said 1. And I kept looking it up, because I said, well, this has to be wrong. Well, there's the Atlantic, there's the Pacific, and everywhere I look, 1. And everything else is just a line we've drawn. There's only one consciousness here. There are no different countries. Everything is just lines that we've drawn around things. They're walls that we put up around things that don't exist in the mind of God. There are walls. There are limits. There are lines. There are fences. They all belong to us. So what you just felt as I was calling out those numbers, I want you to know that was your limit. The universe doesn't have one. So prosperity and abundance, what we want to recognize about it is that prosperity is an abundance of every God attribute with no limits associated with it in the mind of God. So our prosperity lesson for this morning is not just recognizing that there is all this love and all this joy and all this beauty and all this peace and freedom. That's only half the lesson. The other half of the lesson is how much of it can I receive? How much health can I receive? How much joy can I receive now? Because the universe doesn't have a limit. How much beauty can I receive now? How beautiful can I be in this moment if the universe isn't holding back? How much money can I have right now? Because the universe isn't holding anything back from me. How much peace can I allow in my life right now? Dr. Holmes tells us each state of consciousness taps the same source but has a different receptivity. Each receives what he asks for according to his ability to embody. In this way, the universe is infinite. The possibility of differentiation is limitless. In Psalm 23:5, we read, "Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies." Now, this is such a powerful realization that the table has been prepared and that there's no limit to what's on the table. The table's prepared, it's set, it's a banquet, it's a feast. That's what my mother was teaching me. It's a feast. And the only enemy that I have is my own belief. The only enemy that I have is the limit that I'm setting around that banquet, around that feast. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. The only enemy I have is my perception of life. And then the scripture is followed by a very powerful line. It says, "Thou anointest my head with oil." And the reason that this is so powerful is because the anointed one is the one that knows. The anointed one is the one that knows that everything that is on that table originated from the source of his own being. That's where it comes from. And it's an inexhaustible source. See, that anointed one is the person who knows that the universe is a friendly place. So the table's been set. It's before us right now. And the only thing in our way is the walls, the barriers that we have set up in our own minds that tell us that it's for everybody else and not for us. That tell us that we can't have that. Dr. Holmes said the greatest lesson is that life delivers itself into our capacity to receive it. The outpouring from the cosmic horn of plenty can only fill the cup that is lifted up toward it. A pail turned on its side cannot be filled with rain from heaven. So here's the question this morning. What do you believe? Do you believe that the universe is a friendly place? Do you believe that all the good that is God is here for you right now? Phase 1. Phase 2. Are you ready to receive it? Because dinner's on the table. Let it be your way. Thank you for being here this morning. And so it is.